Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Object Talk Live. My name is Shireen, and I am a learning officer at the Jewish Museum London, and will be hosting today's Object Talk. Now, this week's theme at the museum is all to do with play. When we think about play, we think about ways to engage in activities for enjoyment and recreation. During lockdown, we have seen parents and educators try to find new ways to engage their children in play during this new period of being at home. Play is fun, but also educational. Play is for children, but also for adults. And play has so many different purposes. This week on BBC News, we have seen a few children go back to school, running through the playgrounds, keen to be with their friends and play. I know that being in the playground at school was one of my favourite parts of my school day. How about you? Now, outdoor play, particularly in the playground, allows physical, social, emotional, imaginative, and cognitive development. It improves health and well-being, whilst the safe environment encourages independence in children. But what did play look like in the 19th and 20th century? As I'm sure many of you are aware, at the Jewish Museum London, we have over 40,000 objects, a few of which give an insight into what it was like to attend and play at school, namely the Jews Free School, commonly known as JFS. Now, JFS was established in 1732 as the Talmud Torah of the Great Synagogue of London. And in 1822, it relocated to Bell Lane in East End. Now, this was at the time of the Great Migration, when many Jewish people were migrating from Eastern Europe and Russia over to England. JFS served many of these first generation migrant children. It served and hoped to educate children about their Jewish faith, but also to anglicize the students and to help them assimilate into British culture. Now, let's take a look at some of the beautiful photos and objects of the JFS Playground to see what play looked like. So what I'm going to do is I am about to share my screen with you all so you can see some of my favorite objects from the JFS Playground. Perfect. So let's go back a little bit. So the first photo I want us to focus on today is this photograph here. This is a black and white photograph taken in the earliest 20th century of young ladies, young girls, about 5 or 6 years old, holding hands as they stand in a circle. Do you have any idea what they might be doing or what they might be playing? Leave it in the comment section below. Any ideas? It is indeed Ring a Ring of Rosies, that popular English nursery rhyme and playground singing game. Do you remember how it goes? Ring a rosies, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down and everyone drops to the floor. Now, in different cultures, there are slightly different variations of this classic nursery rhyme. In America, instead of saying a tissue, children say ashes, ashes. In India, they say husha, busha. And in the Maori version, people say kuhuru, kuhuru. But nonetheless, this nursery rhyme has played a really important role in children's lives and development. Now, it's said that this nursery rhyme first appeared in print in about 1881 in Kate Greenway's book called The Goose or the Old Nursery Rhyme Book. But it is believed that it had been sung for many years before that. Many people stating that it arose from the Great Plague that affected Londoners in the 1660s. Now, nursery rhymes like Ring a Ring of Rosies are so important, for they help children understand language, have a sense of language, whilst the rhyme and rhythm help kids to hear the sounds and syllables in words, which helps children read. Play and these nursery rhymes were not only fun, therefore, but educational, and a way to anglicize the students, many of which were first-generation migrants from Eastern Europe. It would help them grasp not only the English language, but the English culture as well. Now, outside of the playground, many of the children would learn English and maths and Hebrew. All of the children, would learn English, maths and Hebrew. And once the young ladies were older, they would also have lessons on how to use the telephone and do laundry. But how about the boys at JFS? What did they do to play? Let's look at this photo here. Now here we see yet another black and white photograph, a photograph taken in 1938 of the JFS Playground Railway opening. We see a group of children riding a miniature train over here at the Jews-Free School Playground Railway as a crowd of onlookers surround the track. But what does this tell us about play? In our collection, we also have a programme to the opening of this railway that tells us more. Let's have a look. Now, here is the programme to the Playground Railway. On the front cover, we see the title, Playground Railway, and the date, Thursday, the 30th of June, 1938 at 3:15. And to the right, we see the programme. We see who's speaking when and where. We see that Mr. Hyman Isaacs is speaking, the Vice President of the Jews Free School. And eventually he is followed by Austin Hudson, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport. We see the Earl of Northesk, the President of the Society of Experimental and Mode Engineer Talks at the opening of the Playground Railway. And we see Mr. Marshall Percival, the editor of the Model Engineer magazine, which still operates today. After the speeches, we see that a select few people have the opportunity to ride this train. But first, they have to get tickets from the railway station. Yes, I said the station. Now, when we look at the next page, we see some information about this playground station. The station was created as a large live structure linked to the school's woodwork centre. It was named Bell Lane Station after the road in which the school was located on. It is said that it has a booking office and a station master's office with, I quote, a pleasing modernist design. And as for the staff of this playground station, it says the railway was operated by boys who acted as drivers, guards, porters, station officials, and breakdown gangs. The engine was fired by boys with aid of a foot pump. The next few pages detail how this railway and how this train was designed. And of course, it was by the students as well. The railway track was constructed by the boys in the school's metalwork centre under the supervision of Mr. H.A. Zeeley. Now, this is a different type of play than nursery rhyme play, perhaps. A pretend play, assuming different characters, pretending you're a train driver and so on. And pretend play has its own benefits in itself. It encourages imagination and creativity. It encourages emotional development and it helps children grasp onto language and communicative skills, whilst developing thinking and problem-solving abilities. But furthermore, it allows children to engage with engineering and build their interests and skills. Throughout the JFS photographs, we see the importance of play as a source of entertainment, enjoyment, and importantly, education too. Throughout life, we continuously engage with play, which greatly encourages our mental, emotional, and physical development. So now I ask you, what is your favourite game to play? What was your favourite game to play as a child, and what is your favourite game to play now? I personally love children, but as a child, I like to play dress up. Please do leave your comments below. We'd love to hear more. Now that just leaves me to say goodbye. I hope that you've enjoyed this Object Talk Live. I hope you have had a lovely, and you continue to have a lovely and playful day. And enjoy. Next week, you will be joined by Lisa, my colleague, as she explores the theme of the week next week, text, by looking at an incredibly important Megillah. I hope you enjoy and have a good week. Bye.